What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, here on behalf of the people, by request of the people, and we getting it in. What up, though? Let me say what up to Kojak, my first super chat of the day. He says, hey, bro, somebody to pretending to be you sending me friend requests on Facebook. The link to their page leads to WhatsApp. Currently doing recon intel on them. Before I report and block, I should have more info shortly. It is not me. I am definitely going to deal with it because every day you see a new threat. So now that we've alleviated the threat of what's going on with Instagram, now we're seeing it pop up on other platforms like Facebook. So we'll be dealing with it shortly. But thank you, Kojak, for keeping me up to date and for the $20 super chat. Good morning, friends and family. I see y'all in the chat. Antonio Watkins is in the building. My girl Q. He said that good Wi-Fi. Is my Wi-Fi good? Does it seem like the Wi-Fi is good here? Just curious. Does it seem like the Wi-Fi is good here? Give me a second. Let me see something. Let me see something really quickly. Maybe I'll give y'all a tour of the spot. Shout out to Jalen Hawkins is in the building. Jalen Hawkins says, great morning, Anton and the Bag Chasers. Yesterday, I publicly confessed Jesus, my Lord and Savior. Thanks for contributing to that moment. Have a great day. Hey, can we get a round of applause for Jalen Hawkins for giving his life over to God, giving his life over to Jesus? We appreciate that. I think that is probably one of the best things that I've heard this month. That's better than my birthday, honestly. That's better than my birthday. Better than my birthday. So, hey, can we get a round of applause for the bag chasers and the people that's doing great things, such as Jalen Hawkins? I think that's absolutely one of the most beautiful things that I've heard in the entire month of April. So shout out to you, big dog. Shout out to the bag chasers. Uh, I think that is absolutely phenomenal. You know, they say that when one soul is saved, the entirety of heaven rejoices. That's what the word says. It says when one soul is saved, the entirety of heaven rejoice. So I think that that's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's awesome. It's every great word that you can use to describe something that is great. And so I have to salute that and shout out to you. Let me get the housekeeping out of the way. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. Also on top of that, hey, listen, check this out. When that happened, when I announced that, we got one dislike. The minute that I announced it, we got a dislike. And that shows you what it is that we dealing with as far as the demons out here in these streets. So now that you've given your life over to God and over to Christ, and now that you've become saved, what happens is you start to see the demons kind of scurry around and act a fool simply because they know that you are now more powerful and an ally in order to get people out of the Victim Olympics. But we'll get into that later. Shout out to the dislikes and the demons that don't like it when people get their life over into a good cause. We absolutely love it. Again, let me finish getting the housekeeping out of the way. Patreon members, I did update the post for the Dallas meetup, and I've given the address. We want to keep that a secret on the low. Make sure that you guys go into the Patreon and tap into that because we will be doing a meetup, not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after that. And I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. Q's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Rita's going to be there. All of the bag chasers is going to be there. It's going to be great. I'm also releasing a video tomorrow, an exclusive interview video that you guys have never seen before. And then I'm dropping another video this weekend for the Patreon members to continue to expound on the video that I dropped last, in which I was sharing with you guys ways in which you can make over $500,000 to $1 million a year pretty passively. So a lot of people liked that video. A lot of people said that it was too simple and that it's too easy to implement because we break things down from a C student's perspective. So I'm glad that you enjoyed that video. I got the wheels turning of a lot of people in which they're starting to implement some things. I've even gotten an email from two people that have already started making a couple $100,000 extra as a result of that video. So if you're not a bag chaser, if you're not a Patreon member, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And we're going to get it popping. Shout out to Forsaken Archive. Says, happy belated. Thank you for all of the game that you give. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you, Forsaken Archives. I never asked for contributions, super chats. Shout out to Mike, that dude has also contributed on Cash App. But you guys see value in the things that I give on these platforms, especially in the Patreon. And so you contribute and you donate. And so I have to say I appreciate you. I absolutely, positively appreciate you. Thank you for Forsaken Archives, and thank you to everybody that support the platform. Y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, so let's get started. I got a full show for y'all today. So the first thing that I want to share with you guys, because there's a theme for this, and I've named this the Dominican Republic, this specific stream, the Dominican Republic, because I think that there's a very interesting narrative that's taken place. And if you are not traveling, then it's hard for you to be able to realize it. I often at times come on this platform and I say stuff like, people are running in the Victim Olympics, you don't deserve reparations, stop worrying about what somebody else is going to give you. $50,000 is not enough to raise a family of four in the United States of America. And so I say these things on a regular basis, right? And I'm right. I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong on anything that I discuss, but I'm right. And let me tell you why I'm right. If you get outside of your comfort zone, and even if you just leave your city and travel to other places within the United States of America, it'll be mind-blowing. It'll open your eyes. When you start to travel outside the country, you'll realize just how weak, let me say it again, you'll realize just how weak not only black people are that are losing, because everybody is not in that bucket, obviously, especially us over here at the Bag Chasers, but you'll realize just how weak Americans are. We are so coddled and we are so weak, and that whole sentiment in which uh, good times produce weak men. I don't know the quote exactly. I'm a C student. You got to give me a little bit of grace. But that whole thing in which we say that, good times produce weak men or weak women or whatever it is that you want to frame it as. I know we in a mode of equality and everything like that. It is so true. It is so true. And I think that especially the generations that were born within the last 50 to 60 years has probably been the most coddled. Never really been through anything, but the most coddled generation that has ever existed. And I'm very, very thankful that I was raised by a father that allowed me to fail in controlled environments, and then helped me to understand that nothing will be given to me, but everything will be earned. Nothing will be given to me, everything will be earned. I was not afforded and bought a car. I know a lot of guys say stuff like, they don't want their kids to go through what they went through. It's very good for your kid to go through what it is that you went through in a controlled environment. It doesn't have to be the exact same, but you still need to kill what you eat. And I can see why women don't respect men in America. I can see why everybody is sitting there asking Biden in order to forgive their student loans. I can see why Americans is weak, and specifically Nigerians, Jamaicans, or any kind of immigrant, Palestinian, Somalian, Mexicans, all across the board come over here in this country and mop the floor with Americans. But specifically, let's just talk about black people, because I know it's this thing, black people don't really unite until they can find a European enemy. But there is a subculture in which there's a war against black immigrants that come into the country. And I'm going to tell you why. Black immigrants don't respect. They do not respect people that are traditionally born in America, especially black people that were born in America. The overwhelming majority of the people that's over here in the Dominican Republic that live, work, born here, and play, they look like me. The overwhelming majority of the people over here in the Dominican Republic, they live, work, and play here, and they look like me, right? They just as dark as me, if not darker. And as I walk down the street, and the young kids, they not out gang banging as far as what I can see. They don't have time to gang bang. They out here hustling. I mean, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Hey, sir, can I clean your shoes? Oh, can I sell you this? What it is that I can do for you? They sitting there trying to figure out how it is that they can make some money. They work relentlessly. The women, they grind, they hustle, they go out and they get it. They look good while they doing it. They make sure that they dress up, and then they catch that bus that ain't even got no doors over to their second job and their third job in order to be able to get it. And they incredibly respectful. I'm talking about everybody, not just the women. The kids is respectful. They got customer service out of this world. Thank God for Google Translate, because Anton is on his way to learning Spanish. Because in order for you to really, really be able to thrive here, I think that you need to learn multiple different languages, and everybody is bilingual. But the main language is Spanish. And they got drive out of this world. I mean, these people eat, sleep, grind, hustle, and go and get it. So when they finally get over into America and they see the opportunities that's presented to them over there, it ain't nothing that Americans can do. You trying to figure out how to work 40 hours and then go to sleep, and you can't even wake up in order to get to your job that you work from home for. You can't even make the meeting on time. You still think that $30,000 and $40,000 when you have the land of opportunity that you're standing on at your feet, and you're telling me that it's enough, that a woman should submit to you and that it's enough. These people will come over into that country and outwork you to the bone, and they are trying to get every single dollar and live it up. The majority of people that become millionaires in the United States of America is immigrants. 80% of millionaires is new millionaires. These are facts. This is not my opinion. These are facts. The majority of the wealth that's generated as a result of the working economy comes from people that is not from the United States of America, until the next generation and the generation after that becomes coddled with this Western mindset and culture that ultimately leads to them fumbling the estate and the empire that came along with their parents coming along and grinding and hustling and building up the greatness that comes within. When you see people becoming doctors and all of their last names is Patel and these people, they Asian and they come over from different countries and they paying more than you in tuition and they don't get tuition assistance or financial aid and they parents save their whole life in order for them to be able to do so. The culture really happens like this. The parents come over, they don't have any job opportunities, so they create their own business, right? So they may open up like a Chinese restaurant or whatever like that, but the kids ultimately don't take over the business, which is another myth within the Black community. The kids don't take over don't take over the business because the kids figure out how it is that they can become more educated, which is the purpose of the parents, that then affords them a lifestyle and less work physically with your hands, but more mentally, that allows for them to really be able to level up and then get to a higher level, right? And so what you see, the foundation of who they are, is they done been through too much to where they not worried about all of the small things that we think is meaningful within our communities. They're not having conversations about that. They come over there and they grind, they hustle, they go and get it. They just work. They just get it. They don't make no excuses. They don't care where they came from. None of that. If it's an opportunity to be had, they're going to snatch it out of your hands because this is a competitive world. And whether you like it or not, we live in a capitalistic society. I'm not even talking about just the United States of America. It's opportunity that is snatched out of the hands of people every day simply because they are too busy worrying about what everybody else think about them. They too worried about what it is that's happening within the Victim Olympics. They too busy begging somebody else for a handout. They trying to figure out how somebody else can acknowledge their pain and all of that. Meanwhile, somebody else is taking the opportunity right out of your hands, and you had it in your grasp. You were born with it. You inherited it. Listen, the very fact that you are born in America in these days and times is a privilege. It is a level up on everybody else in the world. It is a level up on everybody. You already born with a silver spoon in your house. No matter what ghetto you born in, no matter what state you born in, whether you in the South or the North, the East, the West, whatever it is, you are already 200 steps ahead of anybody that's not in this country. And until you get out of your own little city, your own little state, your own little democratic hellhole, you're never going to realize it. You will never realize it. And so I'm taking this as an opportunity to immerse myself in a culture. I'm learning more. I'm seeing more. I'm having conversations, but I'm trying to tell you that these people are no joke. It's motivation for me. You think I'm about to miss? No, because it's somebody else that's willing to take that spot. And anything that I got going on, whether it's corporate America, whether it's my businesses, whether it's content creation, I don't care what it is. I do not miss ever. I do not miss ever. When we get out the car, we got to the restaurant yesterday and the dude he came out with an umbrella because it was raining temporarily. He came out with an umbrella. He went and got Rita. And then he followed me into the back of the parking lot in order to come and get me with the car. I overtipped him. Take this money. I overtip him. They coming to get it. They coming to get every single thing. And then they going to have a conversation with you. And they curious about what it is that you do. And, you know, they want to learn from you. And it's an immersive conversation. And they not sitting here trying to figure out how they can hate on you. They trying to figure out how it is that you got there. The guy that I checked in for my new Airbnb that I'm here for right now, he's like, what do you do? Curiosity. Trying to figure it out. How can I implement it? Do you work from home? How do you VPN? I'm like, man, these dudes is more curious than the people that's from my own hood. I drive back in the hood. They ice grilling you talking about what you doing here. I come over here to the Dominican Republic and they like, insight? They gonna take everything. They gonna take your drawers. They gonna take your socks. They gonna take your girl. They gonna take your crib. They gonna take your opportunity. They gonna take everything that you had in your grasp because you can't do anything about it because there is never going to be a substitution for work ethic. There is never going to be it don't matter what you got. It don't matter if you're black. It don't matter if you're white. It don't matter how much y'all fight on the internet. It don't matter what city you was born in the United States of America. Once they get there, it's over for you. It's over. It's over for Americans. I'm going to get into the show shortly, but I just really need to beat this point home. It is over for weak Americans that is not raised with a work ethic and a grind to take over. If you are a man, women got a little bit more grace. If you are a man and you are born in the United States of America and you don't have that thing in you, you ain't him, you ain't it, you don't outwork everybody else, it's over for you. Because the economy is going global. Everything that we see happening today is a global economy. Regardless of where you've been, right? The infrastructure and the streets and all of the handouts and all of this other type of stuff. If you are a man and you're born in the United States of America and you're not working at least 60 hours a week, I don't care about your feelings. The world don't care about your feelings. It's over for you. I don't care if you got a social security number. They're coming for you. They coming for your jobs. They coming for your women. They coming for your lifestyle. They coming for your opportunity. They are going to take everything from you. And in one generation, they're going to become millionaires. You passing on generational curses. In one generation, they're going to become millionaires. If you're not working at least 60, 70 hours a week and you're born in America, there's nothing you can do about it. It's over. It's over. It's done. It's done. And there's nothing you can do about it. It ain't a law that you can create. It ain't a politician that you can petition. It ain't your mama can't help you. Your daddy can't save you. It's nothing you can do about it. They're going to take everything from you. And it's all because you don't have that thing, that grind in them, that hustle, that motivation, that thing that we just inherently born with. You ain't got that dog in you. You don't have that dog in you, and it's no way that you're going to outwork them. They're going to outwork you to death. They're going to outwork you out of your inheritance. They're going to outwork you out of your hustle. They're going to outwork you out of your opportunity. And they're going to take everything from you. And it's nothing you can do about it. It's nothing you can do about it. You know, I looked at Pearl's recent stream, right? And it's funny because she got back to doing the thing that I had told her to get back to doing in the first place instead of sitting here playing in the mud. And in 4 days, it had like 225,000 streams, 225,000 views. It was like 3 or 4 days or something like that. And what she's realizing is that, wait a minute, all I got to do is get back to work and nothing even matters anymore. I realize that's all I got to do is get to work. Disappear and work, disappear and hustle, disappear and grind, disappear and stream, disappear and get this stuff popping. It's over for you. Modern men, I hate to say it because I'm an advocate for my guys, but modern men, it's over. It's over for you. You are too coddled. You are too concerned with the things that don't matter. And your kids is going to suffer as a result of your inability to be able to grind. It's over for you. It's done. So let me get to a couple of these super chats because that's what this stream is about today. It's giving you a reality check of what's happening. Shout out to Kojak, says Intel is in your inbox. Yep, I just got it. I ain't even wearing my Rolexes and none of that. I'm all Apple Watching it up. I'm at the point right now where I'm thinking to myself, like, man, I just need to sell everything and go back to the grind because these people are inspiring me. They're inspiring me. Shout out to Christopher J. Says, good morning, people. Anton, I owe you an apology. When you say the black community is trash last night, stream on Fight Club damn near solidified it. From now on, I'm helping those who want help. You let them have it. Chris, I'm trying to tell you, I know what I'm talking about. You got to let them have it. Demetrius Saul said, how do you put that drive into other people? I don't. I'm not here for everybody. I'm here for the voice that want to be heard, that want to hear, that got an ear to listen. And I'm here for the one, not the 99. Electrician 480 says, big facts. As a Detroiter, we grind every day. In Detroit, we about that We about that hustle. We about that. Black Beauty said left a comment. Shout out to Black Beauty and everybody that watch my vlogs because I've been vlogging weekly, right? But I have it as a long form content. So it's about an hour long. Every week, about an hour long, I drop a video on the Anton Daniels channel on Sunday. And I premiere it, but every week I drop a video on the Anton Daniels channel. It's like an hour long, right? And I basically document my entire life. So giving you guys an inside look again and back documenting the process. So every day, week to week, I'm recording it and I break it down into chapters and I showed y'all where me, flying from Vegas over to Detroit and Detroit over here to the Dominican Republic. And then this upcoming week, I'm showing y'all what's going on in my Airbnb and all of that other type of stuff. So shout out to Black Beauty. Black Beauty says Anton is not ready for West Africa. You not lying, but I'm going. I'm going all over the world, and I need to study every single culture to better understand exactly how these people are living so I can make sure that I keep that dog in me. Chester Williams says, the world is yours and everything in it. Get out there and get on your grind and get it. The world is yours and everything in it. Y'all don't know nothing about that Thug Motivation 101. You ain't know I knew about that, Chester Williams, did you? Shout out to Chester Williams is in the building. Yeah, man, it's a different culture. And so I'm loving, it's a grind, it's a hustle. I'm loving the Dominican Republic right now. And it's a lot of white men that's out here coming to get that box from these chicks over here in the Dominican Republic. We're going to get to that towards the end of the show. All right, let me go ahead and get to the real meat and potatoes of the show. Because I got a theme that I'm going to go with here, all right? So let's start here. Y'all ready? Reading super chats throughout the show. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get it popping, y'all.
Tonight, in the shadow of Motor City, Detroit area mom Dawn Hurley's daily lifeline hangs by a thread.
How many days a week do you need this car?
7.5.
Every day. Every day and then some.
Yes.
Yeah.
After months unemployed during the pandemic, Hurley, who drives her kids to school each day, then travels for her new job in pharmacy operations, is $1,000 behind on car payments and on the list to have her car repossessed.
Have you had to choose between car payments and other bills?
Absolutely. I've had to choose to have my rent late.
All the while knowing she could wake up any morning to find her car gone.
Have you?
Think about that for a minute. Now, contrary to popular belief, this just so happens to not be a black woman. This is American culture. Did you know that repossessions are up higher than they've ever been since the 2008 crash? Yep. Repossessions are up. You can come on in, Rita. Repossessions are up, the highest since they've been since the 2008 crash. Car payments are higher than they've ever been. Financing, what's up, babe? Financing is higher than it's ever been. The amount of money that you paying in interest is higher than it's ever been. And it has no face. It's not just black people. It's white people. It's Asians, it's Hispanic people. Shout out to Johnny Van Johnson and everybody that's contributing super chats, reading them throughout the show. It's all across the board. People are financing their lives away. They losing everything. They paying an egregious amount of interest. And every day they wake up hoping not to have their car repossessed. Do you know that they have 96-month loans on cars now? 96-month loans on cars. Let's continue.
You lost sleep over this?
Oh, of course.
That nightmare, a reality for a surging number of families nationwide. After tumbling at the start of the pandemic, the rate of American borrowers dubbed severely delinquent, or at least 60 days overdue on their car payments, is up nearly 18% from a year ago.
Think about that for a minute. 18% from a year ago. The amount of people that would mean, listen, it's about 1,000 people watching this stream right now, right? It's about 1,000 people watching this stream right now. Somebody watching this stream is feeling some type of way about me having this conversation with y'all. Want me to tell you why? One of the reasons that they feel in a certain type of way about me having this conversation is because they're in that same boat. Somebody is a strong possibility that there's a group of people that is watching this stream right now feeling some type of way about Anton talking from a privileged perspective that is more than 60 days late and delinquent on their car payments, which means that it's costing you exponentially more to pay. Think about what being delinquent means, okay? The gamification of how it is that they're determining that you get your rate in the first place is being ruined, because the amount that you're going to be paying in the future is going to be higher in interest rates because your credit is getting dinged every single day by you being more than 30 days late. That's A. The second thing is you being delinquent often at times comes with late fees, right? And so as a result, you're paying exponentially more in interest to the finance company by allowing you to then eventually get your car repossessed, in which they're going to resell the car and they're going to write it off from a tax perspective in order to get the finance company, in order to lower their tax burden, right? Because they're going to write that as a loss, even though they've been taking profitability from you in the form of interests, right? And the only thing that you can think of, this is the mindset of people that's in survival mode. The only thing that you can think of is how you can get the money up in order to survive another month. You're not thinking about next year. You're not thinking about your 401k. You're not thinking about your children and their college tuition, in which they will be overborrowing and they will be trying to ask whoever it is that's president at that time to forget their student loans. You're not thinking about it. You just trying to figure out how to survive month to month. Subprime auto loan 60 plus delinquency index.
Same rate for subprime borrowers, up 40% in the last.
The same rate for subprime borrowers, that means people with less than ideal credit, is up 40%. So they already able to effectively predict exactly what you're going to do. They know that it is a higher possibility that if they give you this car, chances are you got a Charger or a Challenger, but it's also a possibility that you got something a little bit more affordable. But they know, based off of gamification is credit. Credit is just a formula that they was been able to predict of whether or not you're going to be able to pay your bills on time. Now, a lot of people don't understand credit. They think that good credit means that you're a good manager of your or steward of your resources. It doesn't. All credit means is that they can predict whether or not you're going to pay your stuff on time or not. It does not mean that you are financially sound. It does not mean that you're financially stable. For all of the women that say, I need a man with good credit, all you're trying to do is finance your life away. It does not mean that you're going to have a secure future. It is the biggest myth ever. But the idea that you're using credit in order to be able to maintain or substantiate your lifestyle shows that you are not as financially well off as you think you are now. There's another side of that conversation, because rich people use credit too, but we use it much differently, right? Rich people may use credit because they want to make sure that they're not allocating the money that they already have for this thing. They want to make sure that they don't allocate too much of it away from the thing that's making the money in the first place. So if I can finance this thing at close to 1 or 2% or as close to 0% as possible, right, while actually making more money on top of my money, that means that principal is going to pay for the car for whatever the asset is that I'm running that checkup on, right? So it's a different mindset of how financing works. Financing for rich people is much different than you going to work every day, paying your taxes, and then paying a car payment in order to be able to drive back and forth. It's a completely different mindset, right? It's how it is that they're deploying their resources. So when interest rates are up, such as what the Fed is doing with inflation right now in order to fight it, then that means that they may get rid of the money in order to reduce their taxes, because there aren't as many things to invest in order to get a better rate of return on their money, right? But I'm trying to show you the difference between people that think from a survival mindset and a thriving mindset. It's a much different game, a much different game.
2 years. repo agencies say the impact is obvious.
The number of cars referred to you by the banks to get repossessed has tripled?
Correct. It's all about inflation. You know, the price of fuel, price of food, and a lot of the customers can't keep up with their car payment and feed their family.
Especially given climbing car prices. The average monthly new vehicle payment hitting an all-time high of $730.
The average price for a new vehicle car payment, they didn't even break down the interest rate. They didn't break down what they paying in interest. They said the average payment. Now keep this in mind, y'all, because it's a strong possibility that if you can't make your car payment, then you also driving around with no insurance. And if you're driving around with no insurance, you actually a liability out here on the streets. And it's also a possibility that you didn't even renew your tags on time. And if you're driving around with no insurance, the maintenance on the vehicle is probably kicking your butt too, because it's a strong possibility that you got bald tires. And you need that oil changed. And your average monthly payment on your car is $730. The average monthly payment on a car is $730 a month, not including insurance, not including gas, not including maintenance, not including anything. That's just to pay for the privilege of even being able to say that I have a car. This is insane. $730 a month. This amount right here, honestly, is more than I personally spend in rent. Now, the bag chasers know what I'm talking about. Shout out to the Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. My personal amount, the amount that I personally spend to house me, my daughter, and my wife is less than $730 a month. My personal living expenses is less than $730 a month. Shout out to the bag chasers. If you need further explanation, let me know. I'll do another webinar or a mastermind session inside of the Patreon for y'all to really be able to break that down.
Many boosted by rising interest rates.
Most Americans need vehicles. We know that. They have to get from A to B. And not only are there not a lot of affordable options, there's also not a lot of affordable loans.
Auto experts' advice for those struggling to make payments: reach out to your lender. Ask about a grace period or loan restructuring.
Can I give y'all some advice for those of you that are watching this that is actually paying too much money for your car? Sell it. Sell it. Now, this is going to be some very, very controversial advice for some of y'all that really don't feel comfortable enough to be able to have this conversation with me in person. But let me tell you something. Go back to the mud. Go back to the mud. Listen, the people that have the most to say about you going into the mud, the people that you think is going to laugh at you, they in the same boat. They living paycheck to paycheck. They struggling. They financing their life away. Once you get that monkey off your back of feeling or believing that somebody else cares about what you really doing, once you get that I don't care mentality, it's free. It's one of the freest feelings in the world to divest yourself from this keeping up with the Jones mindset so that you can actually do the thing that's in your best interest and become a thriver instead of a survivor. It is one of the most freeing things. Listen, if you can't sell that car, give it back to them. Get rid of it. Get it out of your name. Eliminate every single thing that you can from a cost perspective that you don't need in order to make sure that you are starting to do the thing that's in your best interest. Stop financing your lifestyle. Stop taking out the credit cards. Get rid of that car. Go get you a hoopty, homie. Go get you a hoopty. Go or if you live in a city, feel free to take public transportation. That's what it's there for. Public transportation is cheap. In Detroit right now, the Q line, the line that's going back up and down Woodward, they're actually offering rides for free during the week. Over in Vegas, I would walk and then catch the bus. You know how much it cost me to actually get on the bus? $1. It costs me, I catch the bus in almost every single city that I go to in the United States of America. It costs me $1. And I lost about 5 pounds in Vegas because I was walking everywhere. And you get more fit. So you got to see the benefits. It cost me $1 to catch the bus to my destination and then another dollar to get back to where it is that I wanted to go. I would catch it right up Flamingo Road. I catched it right over to the Chase Bank. I didn't catch an Uber. I caught it. I was walking around with about 15 bands in my pocket. And I had a bunch of $5 bills, and I would put that $5 in there, and then it would give me a little card, the transfer card. I don't even know if I still got it. It would give me the little card with the credit, and me and Rita was busting it. Went to the Usher concert the next morning. We got on the bus. Went and got something. I documented it on my other channel. It was literally in the blog of the whole video when I went to the Usher thing. Listen, I am a millionaire and I ride the bus. I ride the bus. When I go to my office, I'm on a queue line, I'm catching a bus, I'm walking everywhere that I gotta go. I ain't too ashamed to do nothing. I have on my exercise shoes. I had these Nikes that's very, very comfortable for me to exercise in. Y'all gotta put y'all pride away. We got too much pride. I can't understand for the life of me how the brokest people have the most pride. I can't understand for the life of me how the people that's the brokest have the most pride. They got the best accommodations, the whole 9 yards. Next time you see that chick and she talk about how she's an alpha woman and she's driving this car that's financed and her purse is financed and her hair is financed and she paying Afterpay on her whole look on her BBL, feel comfortable enough to jump on the bus and understand that you ain't got to live that lifestyle. Now, once you get to the point to where you can afford to do what you want to do when you want to do it and you have the option to do it and you can pay cash for it if you want to, now we talking a completely different game. But in the meantime, this is what y'all dealing with.
Don't buy cars based on monthly payments.
Buy it based on the price and save as much cash as you can to put down on the car. Borrowing money costs money.
Tips to try and curb a troubling trend that's leaving more families running on fumes. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Detroit.
Go and get your life together. You need to sit down, and if you are a family man, you need to sit down. One of the things that I did with my wife, I said, listen, we about to go back to the mud. We about to go back to the streets. We're about to go back to hustle. This next 10 years, I don't care how much money we make. I don't care how many houses we acquire. I don't care how much I get a raise. I don't care how many businesses are successful. We're going to stay down for 10 years, and we're going to live the rest of our life the way that we want to live it. Now the conversation is, how do we maintain our lifestyle for the rest of our life without having to actually work to do it? Because it's different styles of rich people, but that's a whole nother conversation. So shout out to the Patreon members. Shout out to everybody getting that bag. Let me read some of these super chats. Greatness to Work says, that's why us Texas boys are different. We saw it in the 90s with the Mexican influx. Invest in your children and families and move up as a group. Let me say this. Move up as an individual family. The only way that you can save yourself is by saving your household. The only people that you're responsible for is your household and the people that work for you. If you want to help your community, if you want to help as a group, then do your part as an individual to make sure that you're not a weak link. All right? Levi Apparel says, Anton being a foreigner is wonderful. Y'all got a different mindset. I love y'all for that. Shout out to Johnny Van Johnson is in the building, says, you're right, I'm a doctor and the Patels got it on lock. They come to the U.S., work low-wage jobs, and sacrifice and end up with all of their kids being doctors, lawyers, and they make no excuses. Shout out to Johnny Van Johnson is in the building. Greatness to Work says, I just watched a group of families from India buy up a whole block of 300-plus homes down the street from. What they do better than 50 Cent of America is move as a family and as a group of families. You know what's so funny, Rita? Remember when we was on a come up and we used to dream? Rita and I, let me tell y'all what Rita and I used to do. Rita and I used to, when we went back to the mud, right? This is how you know you got a real one by your side. This is how you know you got a real one. Shout out to my real one. Let me give her a little shout out over there. Shout out to my real one over there, just chilling, having a good time. This is how you know you got a real one, right? Rita and I, we would take a free date, right? And on our free date, we would drive through and look at every single house in all of the neighborhoods that we loved. Recently, she was like, remember when we used to do that? Remember when you said that the other day? And she says, we used to drive through the neighborhoods that we loved, and we would just dream, right? And we would say, man, when we get to the point to where, we make enough passive income to where it could support us buying this or buying that or whatever, so on and so forth, we gonna know that we made it. And it's like, now that we there, we don't want to lose the edge that allowed for us to continue to have that mindset, right? And so we drove down this one block, this one neighborhood one time, and this is back in like late 2000s, might have been 2010, 2009, 2010, a little bit after the pandemic or the recession really hit. And we driving down, and we see it was in Novi, and it's actually, well, it's in Novi, Michigan. A lot of y'all that's not familiar with it. And across from, it's like a Chuck E. Cheese. It's like Big 12 Oaks Mall, and it's down this specific street, right? I think it's 12 Mile. And if you go down 12 Mile far enough before you hit Beck Road, it's a bunch of houses, and they pretty big, right? And they really huge. And recently, I've actually purchased a property in there, right? And if you drive through, it's like 98% Indians. 98% Indians, right? And when I went and eventually, obviously like over 10 years, 10, 12 years later, went and purchased a property in there, I had a conversation and I talked to somebody and I said, yo, and I just asked them straight up, like, how did all Indians wind up buying almost everything in here? And it was just like, yo, once we came into a specific area, we don't look around different areas. We all just come into this one area and we just look to build it up. Like we are where we are, where we feel most comfortable. And once a few of us identify a specific area as ideal, once we come in and we successful, we just all continue to support that specific area. I just found it so fascinating. And seeing it 12 years, 13 years later, is just as good, if not better, and they built up even more over there. And it was just like, it wasn't even no houses over there, and they were building them from scratch. And they didn't have a builder or anything like that. They just bought the land. They literally just bought the land, and they all just was building houses. And it's a couple Asian people sprinkled in there, and it's a couple white people. I didn't see any black people outside of myself. They probably looked at me and said, "Up there goes the neighborhood," but they don't even know that their neighbors is gonna be white people once I get done getting my tenants in there. Don't worry, I'm not moving in your neighborhood. I'm too good for that neighborhood now. I've already made too much money to be in that neighborhood. But my point that I'm making is just that they got a different mindset. Successful people have a different mindset. Successful people have a different mindset. Let's move into the next thing, y'all, because we got a whole show. Patrick Bet David recently did a video, and I have not seen this video, but I've seen the title of it. And I added it into my watch later. If you look at the list of my watch later inside of my YouTube, it's full of videos that I actually want to use and review with you guys that I have not seen yet in order to have a conversation. But Patrick Bet David recently dropped a video and it said, why Indian immigrants become rich and raise successful kids. Let's get into this video. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm continuing to read super chats throughout the show. Let's get it, y'all.
So why is it that Indian immigrants from India, the country, and the ethnic group of Indians in America are crushing every other ethnic group in America, not by 5%, not by 10%, by 20% in income? We have stats on their divorce rates against everybody else. We have stats on how they raise their kids. We have stats on how they put their kids in certain majors over other majors. It's just mind-boggling, and everybody else is going to learn a ton about how Indians raise their kids.
Let me fast forward this a little
U.S. Census Bureau, where Indian Americans rank amongst other ethnic groups. If you look at this chart here, this is 2018, Indians all the way at the top at $120,000.
Look at the chart, y'all. Hold on. Let me get rid of this real quick. Look at this chart, y'all. So check this out. This is the most recent census as far as U.S. household income and who's at the top of the list. Now, I often refer to this because I did a show about a year and a half ago here on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I broke down exactly what the U.S. income per capita by household is when you look at it by ethnic group, which is why one of the reasons why I'm able to refer to who's winning, who's not, Asians, Indians, so on and so forth, right? And so when you start to look at this and you start to pay attention to it, you realize, first of all, black people is like right below white people. Black people are just below white people. But white people is often the people that we refer to as the enemy or the ones that control the narrative or they make the majority of the money. And it's a white lie. It's a white lie because you can see somebody like a Warren Buffett or Elon Musk who don't even consider himself, he considers himself African. He actually comes, or he was born in Africa, but that's a completely different conversation. But it's a white lie because what you'll see is somebody like a Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett is a billionaire, and then people will use him as a monolith or Bill Gates. And the problem with that is that it actually throws the amount of money that white people make per household off even more because the ones that's at the top, they separate themselves from the ones that's at the bottom. And so it's almost skews the median income because what happens is if you say the average household median income from white people is $65,000 or $66,000 if you round it up, right? The fact that you have a huge gap between the billionaires and then the regular everyday people skews the number up so much when the reality is that the average person is making $50,000, $60,000 per household or is really much lower because those billionaires are still included in this US Census. It's much, much lower. And so when you look at white people or you look at black people and you also factor in Bob Johnson and Michael Jordan, all of these people, right? And they got these egregious household incomes. It skews the numbers so much. So when you say the average black man makes $45,000, $47,000 a year, in reality, he probably makes closer to $40,000, $39,000 a year because you also have to include those billionaires into the conversation. But the fact that black people keep looking at white people as the enemy shows that they are reprogrammed to think a certain type of way instead of looking at stats, data, and statistics in order to better understand who they should be studying and how it is that they can implement some of the things that they're doing into their lives in order to be successful.
Income. Taiwanese is number 2. They're ahead of them by nearly 25%, 24%. Chinese third, Japanese fourth, then it's Pakistani, Filipino, Indonesian, Korean, Cambodian, Hmong, and then Vietnamese. And look where white Americans are at $65,000. Indians make $55,000 more per year than white Americans. By the way, white Americans, you're trying to go to 4 days a week work week. Try convincing an immigrant coming from India, Taiwan, China, Japan, Pakistan, Filipino, Indonesian, Korean, Cambodian, Persian, Hmong, Vietnamese, trying to convince them to only work 4 days a week.
Think about that. We in America are trying to convince ourselves of 4-day work weeks, more vacations, and being on a socialist stimulus and Biden's titty in order to be able to survive. They're taking y'all lunch. They are taking I'm telling you, if you go over into these other countries and you don't just stay on a resort or you start to immerse yourself in the culture and you're not just worried about trying to bust down some random chick that's walking down the strip in order to get chose that don't really care nothing about you, but she just look at you as a meal ticket. If you focus and you start paying attention to the things that's going on around you, they got that dog in them. They got that dog in them, I'm telling you.
Not their kids who are born here, maybe, and they've been Americanized. Try convincing an immigrant to only work 4 days a week. They will laugh at you. The whole purpose of coming to America is that they can work as much as they want. It's called free enterprise. But let's kind of take a deep dive with some of these other stats. Indian population living in poverty amongst percentage-wise with Americans. All Americans, roughly 13% of Americans live in poverty. All Asians, it's 10%. Look at Indians. Only 6% of all Indians in America live in poverty. Now, let's look at education. What percentage of them have bachelor's degrees? What percentage of them have master's or MBAs? And what degrees they have? Look at this here. In 2021, 80% of Indian immigrants over 25 years old or older reported having at least a bachelor's degree versus.
Meanwhile, in the black community, we sitting here trying to take shortcuts and trying to figure out how to just get a quick certificate and do a boot camp instead of actually getting a degree. We always trying to figure out how to take a shortcut. Every single time we try to figure out how we can take a shortcut. Meanwhile, they champion education in their households because they understand that the average person makes more than $1 million. Is probably significantly higher when you adjust for the cost of living and inflation now. That the average person make more than $1 million more than somebody that only has a high school degree if you have a bachelor's degree. They champion education, but here's the caveat. They don't just champion being overly enrolled in liberal arts and things that don't matter in order to be able to continue to say that I have a degree. It's the type of degrees that they go for also. The context matters. And when we have these conversations, we don't like to cite the context in order to have an informed decision. We only refer to the stats and then try to use that in order to substantiate our argument. The reality is that there's multiple different layers that you have to comb through in order to understand why another group of people is more successful than you. Let's continue.
Only a third of all foreign-born and U.S.-born adults. Again, 80% versus 33%. 80% of 25 and older have a degree, 4-year degree. 49% of Indian.
80%. 80%.
Immigrants adults have at least a graduate or professional degree in 2021 compared to 15% of foreign-born and 13% of U.S.-born. Nearly 4 times of U.S.-born is what they have. Now, what do they major in? Let's kind of go a little bit deeper into that one. Lots of people waste money on degrees that have no amount of high-paying jobs. Most people agree that you plan on going to college, you need to major in STEM to make it a good investment, but Indian Americans abide by this. It's like a religion. STEM.
So they don't give their kids an option to do anything other than the thing that is going to make them the most money. A lot of people, it's funny because I jumped on Fight Club for about 15 minutes while the jacuzzi was warming up upstairs. And they all keep talking about you don't have a choice of what it is that your kids do. No, they don't have a choice of what it is that they can do if they're living in my household or I'm paying for what it is that they got going on. How do I know this? Because a lot of them work for me in corporate America. And every last one of them, the women and the men, they are forced. You don't have an option of going to go into the art class and you're going to go become a basket weaver and an underwater basket weaver because this is my passion and this is the thing that's calling me. And I'm going to go into marketing or business administration. No, they have to go into something that makes money. The whole point of education is not to find yourself. It's not to go on campus in order to be a buzz down. It's not to go into this indoctrination camp and then become a liberal. It's there so that you can get the paperwork that allows for you to get in the door to make more money. It is a business. The college itself makes money off of you and they look at you as a business. And you need to look at the college as an opportunity in order to be able to get into another business by becoming best educated in the field that makes the most sense. It is a religion for them to go into certain things. Shout out to Marriage Politics. I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. Let's continue.
Science, technology, engineering, and math. Look at the chart here on what they major in. At the top, you see the blue, engineering 36%. Then it's math and computer science 35%. Then that 10% at the top, you see it? Business management. So they're intentional about what areas they're going to go major in. Now let's go even a little bit deeper than this.
Funny, look at this. Foundational Black Americans should be 100% against immigration. And then what? You still gonna lose? Listen, They still gonna kick your butt. You know why? Because it doesn't matter what you against. See, let me tell you the mindset of successful people versus unsuccessful people. It's not about what they're against. It's what they're for. They're not worried about what you're against. They're going to get rich regardless of who, what policy, what law, whoever is in office, whoever becomes the president or whatever, right? It's about what they're for. They're for education for their families. They're for going into STEM fields. They're for making sure that they put all of the money into the pot and then making sure that they're for building up assets in order to continue to substantiate their lifestyle. They're for hard work ethic, working 7 days a week instead of working 4 days a week and then trying to get a vacation. It's not about what they're against. It's about what they're for. They're not looking for your justification. They're not even out here protesting. They're not protesting. They're not trying to get their voices heard. They're trying to get their money up. They're trying to buy more assets. They're buying entire neighborhoods. 1% of the population owns 90% of the real estate. 1% of the population owns 90% of the real estate. They don't care about what you're for. They only care about success. Y'all, this is crazy. This is insane. Let's continue.
On how they measure amongst other ethnic groups. This is according to the U.S. Census Bureau. If you look at the top right, you'll see all immigrants, it's a darker blue. You'll see Indian immigrants, it's a lighter blue. And then you'll see U.S. born, okay? Furthest to the left is management, business, science, art occupations. Look who's in the middle. 79% of Indian immigrants versus 43% of U.S. born versus 37% of all immigrants. They major in management, business, and science. Look at service occupation. They're the lowest at 5%. U.S. is 15%.
They're the lowest in service. The lowest. They not trying to take your order. They don't care about your order. Fam, they don't care about your order. They probably just working a job in order to continue to grow and help pay for their education when they can get their STEM degree.
And all the other immigrants, 21%. They're like, no, you're not going to major in service when you go into this. Look at sales and office occupation, 10%, 15%, 21%. National resource constitution maintenance occupation, they're 1%. It's almost as if you do go and major in that, you're going to get a lot of pop-out from your parents there, but it's a 1%, 8% for U.S. born, 12% from all immigrants. Then production, transportation, and material moving, 6, 13, 15. Look, they're not interested in that. You know what they're interested in? Management, business, science is what they're interested in. They want to.
Y'all grooming y'all kids in order to be service people. Y'all trying to tell y'all kids on how it is that they can be service people. They're grooming their kids in order to manage you. They trying to figure out how to replace you with robots. We'll get into that shortly. Don't worry about it.
To do STEM. So obviously this leads to them making a lot of money, but let's look at business. Are they startup entrepreneurs? Do they produce billionaires? I don't know. Let's take a look. So here's what it looks like. According to Oxford Academic, Indian immigrants represent 1% of the U.S. population, but 8% of the founders of high-tech companies.
Indian immigrants. Jesus. How can I beat this into y'all head? Help me help you. How can I beat this into your head to where you're not running in the Victim Olympics? I know that there will be a reaction video somewhere in the sphere that I'll never see a day in my life, and it's going to say, oh, Anton is a coon because he continues to go against foundational Black Americans. I'm the person that's trying to unlock you and unleash you so that you can become successful and stop making excuses, and that your kids can benefit as a result of your different mindset and the way in which you think. How can I unlock you? How can I help you to understand that 1%? Y'all keep citing this 13.6% Black people in the population, and it's not even accounting for really all of the immigrants that's coming over that's Black from other countries. 1% of the population represent 8% of the founders of high tech. He didn't say started their own business, own an LLC, founders of high-tech companies. Founders of high-tech companies. 8% of the founders of high-tech companies. If this is not mind-blowing, if this is not... When I was in college, it's funny because every single class that I went to, right, outside of the electives, So all of the different classes that I went to for my software engineering classes, I was the only black guy in there. I was the only black guy in there. Overwhelmingly, there were immigrants in those classes. Asian, Indian people in those classes. Overwhelmingly. So those became the people that was a part of my network because those are the people that I studied with. Those are the people that I spent time with. And so, you know, I learned a lot about other cultures as a result of spending time going over their houses, studying, doing study groups, whatever, so on and so forth. They got a different mindset. They have a completely different mindset.
And 1/3 of technology startups in Silicon Valley. 1% of total US population, 8% of all founders. Here's some of the names of billionaires that produce. Jay Chaudhry, net worth $8.3 billion.
I bet y'all have never heard of this guy before in y'all life. I bet you have never heard of this guy. I bet y'all don't even know who the CEO of Microsoft is. Because you still think Bill Gates run it. I bet you the majority of y'all couldn't say the name of the CEO of Microsoft without looking it up. And you still wouldn't even be able to pronounce his name correctly. I guarantee you that you would not even be able to tell me who the CEO of Microsoft is. That's laying y'all off right now.
CEO of Zscaler, Vinod Khosla, net worth $5.3 billion, former Sun Microsystem co-founder, Rome Wadhwani, $5.1 billion, Rakesh Ganwal, $4 billion, Indigo CEO.
Wait a minute. Are these not the vision of the high value men? How come we don't ever see black women saying I'm about to divest and go and get me an Indian? How come we don't never see black women saying I'm about to divest and go and get me an Indian? Just curious.
Founder Naresh Shah, CEO of Wayfair, $2.8 billion. Anil Bursi, net worth $2.3 billion, CEO of Workday. This is working.
Y'all don't know none of these people, do y'all? Y'all have never heard of some of these companies, have y'all?
On how they're producing and what they're majoring in. Now let's look at family perspective. What do they do that's different when it comes down to the family? Well, one thing that's interesting is it's very common for multiple Indian families to share a home while building a business together and continuously expanding the business. So it's almost like
it's funny. You know what the funniest thing is? He said it's very common. Let me rewind this just a tad. He said it's very common for multiple Indian families to share a home while building a business together and continuously expanding their business. I did a breakdown and I gave y'all the story of how my brothers, because my brothers are 6 and 7 years older than me, and when I was in high school, they had went out and they were renting a house, whatever like that, and they had their families. And then I told y'all that my parents had told them to come back home, and we was all just gonna pile up into this little house together. And some people was gonna take over the basement, some people was gonna take over the attic, and we was all just gonna immerse ourselves and just live and be one big happy family. And then we was just gonna suffer for the next 1 to 2 years, in which we wound up having a party in the best years of our life. That my brothers, that was the way in which they saved up and was able to buy their homes. Is that they all moved back in with our parents, with our mothers, and they built up together. And then I also told y'all that, you know, because we young, we ignorant, we raised in this culture that I think is trash, that we champion the most. I also told y'all when the 2008 recession hit that I wound up moving back in with my parents in the basement, and we stayed down, we chilled. Even after we moved out, and then my mom had got sick for a period of time before my father passed away, that we moved 2 doors down from my parents because my father was the head of maintenance of an apartment building, and we was basically living for free. And you know what the funniest part about that is? Because I was making a lot of money at the time. My Indian friends, they thought it was phenomenal. Black people laughed at me. In which I knew that if I could get black people, you know, if black people is laughing at me, it's a strong possibility that I'm doing it right. My Indian friends, my white friends, my Asian friends, they thought it was a smart idea to live for free and to, you know, do stuff like that. And the black people was laughing at me. Now look at me. Now look at the difference between, now when I look at the very people that were laughing at me, they looking for opportunities, they're trying to get on, they're trying to figure out how they can work for me. Think about the mindset. They live together. What is the point of having a home? The point of having a home, the point of having a car, before you get to a point to where you can determine what you want to do when you want to do it, is to make sure that you have somewhere to safely lay your head. It's not to impress your friends. It's not to make everybody else feel a certain type of way. It's not for everybody else. It's for you. It's for your family. It's for your comfort. It's to make sure that you're protected. The whole idea of a dwelling is to give provision and protection to the people that surround you. It's not to make everybody else feel good. It's for you. It's for you.
To get and continuously expanding the business. So it's almost like the concept of delayed gratification. Hey, let's live together. Let's minimize expenses. Let's put all the money we're making back into the business rather than splurging and wasting money all over the place. A couple other things to be thinking about. When it comes down to divorce rates, did you know Indian Americans have the lowest divorce rates in America? Very interesting, right? Now, some of you are going to say, well, of course they have the lowest.
So every single thing that I live my life by is exactly what it is that he's talking about. The career field that they chose, the way that they wind up living their life, how it is that they built their family, how it is that they're able to save money, what it is that they do as far as their household and their dedication to staying together instead of getting divorced. Every single thing that I do is exactly what it is that he's describing.
Divorce rates in America because they have arranged marriages. They may in India, but not necessarily all in America. It does happen, but it's not as high of a number as it is in India, and it's gradually going away anyways. Well, let's look at the stats here. According to National Center for Family and Marriage Research, blacks,
I don't even want him to say it.
They have the highest divorce rate, 30.
Black people have the highest divorce rate. Hispanic people are right behind them because they kind of think just like black people. And then white people is half of black people, but they number 3 on the list, which they exponentially more because they're the majority of the population. Because this is the rate. I'm reading Super Chat shortly. This is the divorce rate. This is not how many divorces, because if you had how many divorces, white people would be at the very top. This is the divorce rate, meaning of everybody that get married, this is the percentage of them that get divorced. 30%. 18.5%, 15% divorce rate. Reading Super Chat shortly. Thank y'all for contributing to the platform. Divorce rate. And so you sit here and you argue with me. And I see, I gotta put black women on the front of bring them to the front of the congregation today. Ladies, I've seen you ugly hussy hoes sending my wife DMs to where she wound up putting her whole Instagram profile on private. Y'all was sending her messages in TikTok. Y'all was sending emails because you know that she was one of the first people that see my emails when you sending me emails for business. You funky, ugly, hussy hoes sending my wife emails trying to encourage her, saying you need to find a new man and come over here with us and all of this other type of stuff. And y'all had the nerve to actually have y'all real profile pictures and everything. You stupid, fat, ugly, funky, single baby mama hoes was trying to encourage. And she laughing at you hoes and sending it to me and saying, Anton, you don't even know that I'm the one that manages her social media. I see everything before she see it. And then I showed her, like, you see this funky hoe? Look at this fat thing up here trying to get you to get divorced. You don't even know that I see it before she see it, and you funky, ugly, black, baby mama, single, getting buzzed down by multiple dudes, don't have nothing going for you hoes, you don't even know who your real father is. You funky hoe had the nerve to be sending my chick a DM talking about what it is that she should and shouldn't do. You nasty, pork-eating, single, funky, grease between your nails having, sharing an air mattress rocking, funky hoes had the nerve to try to get my chick to leave her good man. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. You would rather have her miserable with you than living this phenomenal lifestyle with us. You know what my chick right there, right now doing? Let me show you what she doing. This is what my chick doing right now. She's sitting out there enjoying life. You see her? You see that chick right there out there enjoying life, looking at the city, having a good time? That's what she doing. You'd rather have her and your funky, ugly hood with you than having a good time. No, don't tell me, okay, Anton. Don't tell me, Anton, we get it. No, don't tell me. You can't tell me how to respond. You can't tell me how to respond. You want her to be a part of the statistic that Patrick Bet David is saying. Okay, let's continue. I'm done for now.
8%. Hispanics are 18.5%. Whites are 15.1%. Other is 12.4%. But for
and please stop telling me about Ramil. First of all, Ramil don't even get on camera. Secondly, Ramil ducked as soon as I jumped on Bernard Riley's stream. He all of a sudden had to go, and then he said it out loud without me even saying nothing. Now I'm not leaving because Anton is here. These niggas is all internet trolls. They all internet trolls. We don't respect you niggas.
Indian families, you ready? There's some studies that say 1.3% and some that show 6%, but they're lower than anybody else when it comes down to this. Obviously, some of it has to do with culture, ritual, all of that, but they have a lower divorce rate than others. Again, this is purely based on statistics. Couple other things. We looked at this website called indiaparenting.com, and we saw these 10 things that they do as parenting that's different than others. Some of it you may say, I had some of that with my parents, or I apply some of it myself, and some of you may say, yeah, we definitely don't do that in America. Here, let me kind of go through it. Number one, they promote kinship. Indian parents make it a point to foster relationships and association with their social and family acquaintances. They edify their children to be in social connections and also maintain healthy connections with.
You know what's so funny? You know what's so funny? It's interesting that the social groups and the settings by which my daughter exists in, the majority of the people that embrace her the most don't even look like her. And I want her to get, I'm here in the Dominican Republic. I'm here in the Dominican Republic because of her. We're not here in the Dominican Republic because of us. We're not here because we wanted to come to the Dominican Republic. We're here because we want to make sure that she has every experience possible to be able to travel and do the things that she wants to do. Because we made a pledge that we would dedicate every single thing that we have in our life from a resource perspective in order to make sure that our daughter got every cultural experience, that we can fund all of her initiatives, that we can fund her taekwondo, that we would make sure that she had, all of the support and the resources to go to colleges that she would want to go to and everything like that. She's ranked number one in the country. Ranked number one in the country for her age group. She's out right now training, having a good time. She spends time with her friends. She has different cultural experiences. She eats different food. She has seen different lifestyles. And she's consuming all of this along with the work ethic and everything like that and the things that her mother is teaching her. And it's a phenomenal experience. And it's something that my wife and I, when we pray at night, because we pray together at night, but we pray separately in the morning, right? Because I wake up much earlier than her, but before we go to bed, we pray together at night. That's another thing that y'all need to make sure that y'all doing. Make sure y'all pray together. Make sure that y'all pray together. Let me emphasize that. Right? If you're the head of your household, you establish the hierarchy and how things go as a standard. My daughter prays with us. She leads the prayer. I lead the prayer more often than not. But my daughter leads the prayer. My wife leads the prayer. Y'all got to make sure that y'all pray together. And so when we pray, And we give thanks and we give appreciation to God for our lifestyle and the things that He's allowed for us to be able to experience. One of the things that we're very, very thankful for is to allow for her to fail in controlled environments and for her to have different experiences that inform how it is that she's going to move when she becomes an adult. So it's a great life to live. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to get it popping because we got a show today. We cooking today. Rashid Griffin is in the building. Says, I got 3 all under 2023 paid for. And women say I should upgrade. And my word is got 1. I got 3. I got options. And my toad always said a bird in a hand is better than 2 in the bush. Shout out to Rashid Griffin in the building. Levi DePero says, foreigner life by hope you have a year or 2, come taxes and upgrade till you get close to the brand new model. America is an amazing opportunity to lure. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, you are the man, keep sharing the knowledge. Even an old dog like me can learn something new. Shout out to Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Demetrius Shaw says, can you get any engineering job with any engineering degree? Absolutely not. Like, you're not going to get a software engineering degree job with a mechanical engineering degree. Now, can you still have that background but the knowledge in order to be able to get into certain fields? Absolutely. 100%. Dakota's Jenkins says, I feel what you're saying, but I feel we must still be anti-immigrant for preservation purposes. Okay. Still don't mean that you ain't gonna have to compete. Greatness to Work says they don't move out of the house until they're married. Neither will my daughter. Plato is in the building, says, as an immigrant, the motivation is different. Being from the islands, there aren't a lot of opportunities. So when you come to the U.S., it's like the world is your oyster. That's what they saying. That's literally what they telling me. Aya Gamid says, the issue with us is what you said back on the Lapeef Network. We hate each other. In Africa, our politicians purposely create ridiculous regulations and tariffs on businesses, which breeds corruption. Yeah, I heard about that. I'm scared to go to West Africa. I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it. Maybe next year. John Wick says, if black people laughing at you, it probably means you're doing something right. Anton Daniels, 2023 facts. Greatness to Work says, Anton, you ever heard of Ubuntu? Black people actually used to do this concept before being westernized. Family is wealth. I heard of Ubuntu, the software. The software I haven't heard of. I'm going to have to look it up. Let me look it up. Lamar Black Attack says, I've been trying to tell fools that it's time for us to start copying other successful cultures because our culture is trash. We have to separate ourselves and find our own tribes. We got one tribe right here for you, Lamar Black Attack. For all of y'all that's rocking out with us, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We got 5 dislikes. Let's see if we can get that up. Let's see if we can rouse some feathers and make sure that people feel uncomfortable. Make sure you hit a dislike or a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. George says, my first super chat. Thanks, Anton, for constantly pushing us. I've leveled up in 1 year to where I thought I'd be in 10 years. Shout out to George. Hey, can we get a round of applause for the bag chasers? Can we get a round of applause for the Patreon members, the bag chasers that's in the building? Shout out to you and thank you for the 20 ball. Ruckus says, my 12-year-old daughter is working on her resin art business. Already made her first 1,000 in the STEM field. My 11-year-old daughter is working on education courses for when she gets to the teaching industry. Bag chasers. Well, Ruckus, you know you've been a bag chaser for a while. And I've actually met you in person several different times. Shout out to you, my friend, and your lovely family and your wife. I rocked out with y'all. Super duper dope. I appreciate you guys. Let's continue with the show because we got a lot to go through. We got a lot to go through. Let's see what we got coming up. No, not a theme. Not a theme for the whole show. Let's continue.
Outfitted with cameras and sensors, this autonomous robot is verifying price signs and looking for out-of-stock items.
These cameras on the side are capturing images of the shelves that are then uploaded to our cloud environment to determine what products are out of stock, what's mispriced, what's in the wrong position.
Inventory is one of the biggest challenges retailers face. Missed sales from empty shelves and out-of-stock items cost U.S. retailers $82 billion in 2021, or about $1.6 billion a week.
So this would tell us that the Snickers is low, and we probably need to get more Snickers dropped from our back stock and brought out to the floor.
Almost half of retailers said out-of-stock items were their biggest challenge in fulfilling customers' orders.
Retailers are spending a lot of money to know what's coming into their stores through their inventory systems. They know quite a bit about what they're selling and that are leaving their stores. But in their stores on a daily basis, they don't have a very good model of what's actually happening on their shelves.
Isn't it funny? When I hear these blackity black channels a lot of times, and they having these conversations, they fail miserably to be able to talk about the technology aspect of things, and they fail miserably of how the solution for you actually being able to level up and become more successful. It kind of reminds me of, and I say this often, it kind of reminds me of the black church, right? And that in the black church, you can heap and haw and you will shout and you'll praise God for the next 2 to 3 hours. They're going to blow and they're going to kiss you and they're going to hit you in the head and you're going to fall out and you're going to catch the Holy Ghost all over again. And you're going to speak in tongues and all of this other type of stuff, right? And then at the end of the day, you're not going to have any real solution as to how it is that you can live your life differently that'll allow for you to be able to level up. You don't have any new financial information. You don't have any information on how it is that you can raise your family more effectively. You don't have any training services, no skills, no way in which they can pour into the community. But they continue to seek for donations and they continue to seek contributions. And then more importantly, they also make sure that they participate in every charity and building fund. And so as you continue to build these large edifices, you don't necessarily get anything that allows for you to be successful throughout your regular life. So when I see a lot of this stuff, when I see a lot of the leaders, one of the things that I'd like to see in the black community, since y'all culture is so awesome, I'd like to see the people that are at the forefront of the movement. I'd like to see what they've actually built. I'd like to see the jobs that they provided people. More importantly, I'd like to see their background as far as with it being in STEM. I'd like to understand whether or not they understand sales in corporate America. Even being a sales engineer, that would be awesome, right? I want to see the background and the credentials for the people, not necessarily of whether or not you went to theologian school, but if you understand commerce, America, technology. One of the reasons why I was having a conversation and I was championed for a little bit of time, Andrew Yang on the Democratic side for president, this has been documented. I actually donated to the campaign, volunteered to the campaign and stumped for him. Wasn't because he was a Democrat or because he had believed in his $1,000 a month for each family. I never thought that would pass anyway. So I started looking at the other policies and I realized that he understood technology, trade, and more importantly, what was coming from technology companies in other countries, such as Taiwan and the war that China was having for chip technology and semiconductor chips and things like that. And so because I felt like he understood technology more, he was better suited to understand exactly where it was that we was going from a global economy or a scale, right? Doesn't mean that he had better policies or anything like that. We can debate that. But my point is that who's actually best equipped to give you the information that you need in order to be successful long term in the black community? Is it the pastor? Is it your black leader? Is it the person that rile you up within the black community to say, rah, 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 against immigrants? Fight the power. Fight the power. Is it the people that protest and make signs? Is it the what do you call them? What do you call those people that be standing out on the corners and they had them shingles on the bottom of their shirts? Hebrew Israelites? Is it them? Everybody keep preaching that Jesus is already here and Jesus is coming back. But they've been preaching that for the last 300 years. In the meantime, you die in a day. You poor right now. Let's continue.
But an army of inventory robots is being deployed that would help retailers appease angry customers, boost sales, and respond to the ongoing worker shortage. Almost 900,000 retail jobs were unfilled at the end of November 2022. The retail industry employs more than 30 million Americans.
You know what the funniest part about this whole thing, though, is? They coming for all of the jobs over here. I went into the grocery store the other day, and Every single aisle was open here in the Dominican Republic. Every aisle was open. I couldn't see anything that was out of stock. It was a bunch of people working. They had that dog in them. They was working. Meanwhile, during the pandemic, I seen everybody trying to get off and get unemployment and get some free stimulus checks, not even realize that they was running up inflation.
Retailers are competing in a very tight labor market still, and they're often having trouble filling jobs that are more physically intensive, like packing a box or refilling a shelf. So instead, they're using robots in some cases or automation to fill those types of tasks and having people do skills that use their brain, that use some of the skills that a robot would have a harder time replicating.
These robots are really going to help brick and mortar to evolve and capture sort of the new market where you can order online, pick up in store.
The inventory robot market is a $34 million industry. Other companies in the space include Simbi Robotics and Bossa Nova Robotics. So what impact will inventory robots have on U.S. retailers and the
Let me tell you what impact that they're going to have. The people that's going to continue to make the most money are the people that's in STEM. The people that think that they're going to survive and they think they're going to continue to protest for $15 an hour are going to be replaced. We already see it happening, and it's happening at an exponential rate. Even when you think about chat GBT and artificial intelligence and the amount of jobs that's being lost already to that, the people that are impacted the most are not the people that are in the industries that are developing the technology or using it effectively. The people that are being impacted the most are the people that's on the ground floor, and that's a part of the middle class. They're solving for issues that they have to deal with as far as people calling off because workers don't call or robots don't call off. They solving for the problem of people stealing because robots don't steal. They're solving for people at the cashier's desk because the cashier's desk don't steal. The faster that they solve for the technology aspect of people, the quicker that they're going to replace you.
livelihood of its workers.
They'd rather spend $100,000. I heard New York spent $750,000 for a couple robot taxis. They'd rather do that than put 6 new police officers on the street.
Keeping shelves fully stocked has been a full-time job for retailers in recent years. Fewer truck drivers, higher fuel prices.
Why is keeping shelves stocked an issue? Because it's not whether or not they can find somebody to stock the shelves. Because it's missed sales, it's missed opportunities. See, retailers are not thinking from the perspective of how is it that something is wrong with the people that we got hired. That comes along with it. You're going to automatically solve for the people that you're deeming or you're dealing with that's making things difficult within whatever business that you run. You automatically solve for that and you automatically deal with it. Rita, what do you got going on over there, honey? Honey, what are you doing? Let me show it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? It would open. It's down. You just open it from the outside. Well, that's what you get yesterday, because I was outside upstairs and I was trying to get your attention. Oh, Rita, help me. And she's sitting there looking at the phone like this. But you automatically solve for what it is that you have going on in society. As far as from a worker perspective, if you can figure out how to increase sales by making sure that the products that people really need is still on the shelves, instead of having humans or individuals scanning for it themselves, and then half the time you can't even find nobody to come into work.
Prices, supplier issues, severe weather, and changing consumer preferences have caused a shortage in everything from toilet paper and eggs to baby formula.
The baby formula shortage is getting worse.
Grocery store shortages are back again.
Tonight, empty shelves lining more stores nationwide. Some retailers.
The biggest problem that people have, and even us, right, and some of the companies or the businesses that I'm invested in, even the restaurants that I'm a silent investor in, One of the things that we try to solve for is using the data to predict what's going to happen prior to it happening. So we trying to predict how many people are going to come into the restaurant on this day based off of historical data, based off of if it's a significant weekend. Do you got an event happening in this particular city or area or downtown or something like that, right? And so then that determines how it is that we can staff it, how much food you need for this particular thing so you don't have a shortage. You want to pre-order and have things solved for, because the more that you have to be reactive, the more it's going to cost you, right? And this is one of the things that the robots are doing, but at the same time, with being able to do that, you prevent yourself from having to spend more money on regular everyday people.
Complaining product shortages are becoming as bad as they were at the start of the pandemic.
An out-of-stock item is when a shopper leaves a store without purchasing what they intended to buy. The product could be in a warehouse, in a different aisle, or on the shelf, but blocked by a sign or display.
The biggest challenge that supermarkets have today is out of stocks. Being able to, really handle how to get inventory on the shelves.
Have y'all ever walked into a grocery store and seen some junk that looked like that? I'll just walk back out. I'm willing to overpay. I'm willing to overpay to go to the right place that actually got everything I need than to go and get the cheapest possible price for something that may or may not be there. I'm willing to overpay to get the thing that I need than to deal with some foolishness like this. I won't even go into a space that looked like that.
That's their number one challenge today.
While some issues are driven by supply, demand is also an issue. The rise in pet ownership in the US, for example, led to shortages for products like food for dogs and cats. About 23 million American households adopted a pet during the pandemic. And the problem isn't necessarily a new one. A key component of retail operations is having the correct amount of inventory on hand.
What is up with dogs? I don't understand about this whole pet thing. I think we are. We might be the only people who don't have a little critter running around. I don't know what that is. Even I seen grown men. I seen a guy who was the guy that was the bodyguard for what was his name? Jada Pinkett's boy toy.
Yes, I know you're talking about the guy
Who the Jada Pinkett's boy toy? You don't remember what his name? August Alsina.
Yes.
Yeah, the bodyguard for August Alsina, right? This dude is like 6'7", cock D's and all of that. And I think I seen him with a little poodle. Like, what is wrong with that? Why is everybody got to have poodles and dogs? I don't understand that. I don't understand how everybody got a poodle. Shout out to y'all. I'm reading Super Chat shortly. I don't understand how everybody why is everybody so obsessed with pets right now?
And making it available to shoppers. On average, for every dollar U.S. retailers make, they have $1.35 worth of inventory in stock.
In the old days, 20, 30 years ago, the way of reconciling our data with our reality was to do physical counts. We would send people down the aisles and they would physically count. We'd have 6 of this item, 2 of this item. They'd be punching it into a handheld device and it would be flagging anything that was mismatched. This could take weeks.
Not having a product available for purchase, while frustrating for a customer, is potentially disastrous for a retailer. Out of stocks cost retailers not just the loss of the initial sale, but in some cases the loss of a secondary sale and potentially the loss of customer loyalty.
Got that right, because I'm never coming back. I can't stand, the Valmat that we have, a lot of people don't understand. We call Walmart Valmat around here. The Valmat that's over in our areas are pretty good. They're pretty good with the prescriptions and everything like that. But I can't stand the possibility of going into a space and they not having I'm not driving nowhere. At this point, we order everything and we even do, what is it called? Instacart? Is that what you use, Instacart? We get all of our stuff delivered. If you learn how to solve a problem in society, ultimately you will be a lot more successful than people that don't know how to solve a problem. if you learn how to fill a void, fill a gap, solve a problem, one of the things that I'm looking at investing in right now is level 3 chargers. Level 3 chargers. And so we did the numbers, and it's possibly going to cost me anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 per level 3 charger. But the problem is finding the right businesses in order to install them at. So right now, what I have going on is I got a guy that I hired from a sales perspective to go out and try to sell and work with different gas station owners, in which we foot the costs for building in infrastructure for chargers, especially in rural areas where there's less competition, and then we split the profits 50-50, right? And so one of the things that gas station owners in our communities and in Metro Detroit, I'm heavily immersed in investing in what's going on in Metro Detroit. One of the things that gas station owners are concerned about, based off of the communications that we have back and forth with my sales guys, is they're concerned about the costs versus the return on investment and how long it'll be a return on investment, considering that it's still a budding industry, but because you have to go so far out of the way in order to get to a level 3 charger, they wondering how they can mitigate that cost. Now, because I'm trying to get rid of some money and I've started a new company, and I won't even name that company, but I've started a new company, what I'm doing is I'm saying, listen, I'll front the upfront costs for having a level 3 charger. Now, the problem is a level 1 charger is a trickle charger. Level 2 chargers, they okay, but it takes too long in order to charge. But if you get a level 3 charger or a supercharger, and you have to work with the utility companies in order to do that, and there's also some huge incentives from the Biden administration. Man, I'm about to give so much game to my Patreon members. I'm about to give so much game to the Patreon members. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. There's a lot of incentives from the Biden administration. How do I know this? Because I learned a lot of it from the people that I sit next to at the Pistons games, right? And so because we connect and we learn, and some of them actually own gas stations, and one of the guys is building a house in my area, we went and had dinner together. And what they explained to me was all of the incentives that went along with making sure that you continue to build the infrastructure, especially with electric chargers in the United States, and how much money you make as a result of it. Now, because we're footing the entire cost, we're the ones that get all of those kickbacks from the Biden administration, but we fronting the money up front. And so I promised him that I would partner with him. And what we doing is we're partnering with different gas station owners in order to bring level 3 chargers, because we don't want people to have to go to other places just to charge their cars. You should be able to deal with it the same way that we deal with it as far as gas cars, to be able to charge a car, but you should be able to charge it in less than 25 minutes, 25 minutes in order to get your charge popping. So we got a lot going on, and it's a lot of investment. And so the more money we make, the more money we look to get rid of. But we looking at it from a 10-year perspective versus looking at it from a short-term perspective. We don't care as much about the things that everybody else care about. We looking at everything from a business perspective long-term. But my point is, and the reason why I wanted to show y'all this video was to give you some insight and inspiration behind, if you're able to solve a problem, that you can more than likely benefit from a financial perspective from the emerging economies and emerging technologies. And it doesn't have to be looking to get a job. You can also profit significantly from the incentives that's given to you from the infrastructure deals, even if you don't like who it is that got voted into office, right? So it's a lot of money out here. A lot of people are just not familiar with all of the opportunities that go along with it, because you surround yourself with people that's looking to rile you up and not actually give you any solutions on how to put some money in your pocket. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to move on. Service USA said, get these likes up. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Tam, my girl Tam says, this is called edge computing. Dent OS is what Amazon used to allow you to get the item off of the shelf and pay and keep up with inventory. So Amazon actually has a lot of these stores. I'm not sure how much they're rolling out, or I'm not sure if they're going to actually roll out this technology to Whole Foods. I don't know, but Amazon has a lot of stores in which they've tested this technology, especially over in Seattle, of being able to do this. And this is exactly what you're talking about, Tam. Shout out to Tam. She's a part of the Bag Chasers, and she adds a significant amount of value inside of the Discord that's in the description of any of the most recent videos that I've dropped in the Patreon. Levi Apparel with the 20 ball says, congratulations, great father and good husband. Thank you. Patrice Jean-Baptiste says, look up how a lot of pro-black people attacked King Randall. Read it right now, King Randall. I don't know who King Randall is. A young black conservative man that actually has a school to teach young boys just because he doesn't agree with them politically. Vicious. We have a vicious community. I'm going to check that out, though. Cliff Williams, my dog from Canada, says, Wagwan, bro. I found a robot that does floor layout for my walls. Usually a job for 2 people. If it works how I imagine, I can keep that money and sell the service to other contractors. I need a drywall or framer robot now. For real. Shout out to Cliff using technology in order to continue to level up. Jeremy Covington says, at my afternoon job, we just stopped manually scanning inventory. Now we use RFID chips to scan inventory once a week. Technology is going to continue to evolve. You're just going to have to be at the forefront of it. Shout out to you, Jeremy Covington. Thank you to everybody that continue to hold me down and add value into the live stream. Do I want to do this last video? Let's see. We did that. We did that, and we did that. We're going to save that for tomorrow. So here are my final thoughts, right? Here's what I want you guys to take away from this whole situation. As we stream over here in the Dominican Republic, you have to be solutions oriented. And I find that our culture and the people that are the voices at the forefront of our culture is not solutions oriented. They're not. I love doing the streams. Dang, you know what? I actually do have another video that I want to. This is how we're going to end it. I'm going to save that monologue for last, all right? I want to get into my dog, Umar Johnson. I almost forgot about Umar Johnson. Shout out to the good doctor, Umar Johnson. What did he call him? What did he call the black women? Something sisters. Snow sisters. Umar Johnson is addressing snow sisters. I almost forgot about having a conversation about Umar Johnson. You know what a snow sister is? We're not going to end this without having Umar Johnson come to the front of the congregation. I love reacting to Umar Johnson. He's one of my favorite people. You know what a snow sister is, Rita? Yeah, you know what a snow sister is? No, a snow sister is, this is a new term that I've developed from Umar Johnson. A snow sister is a black woman that wants to look and dress and have her hair like a white woman. So she not natural, right? She don't have her natural hair, or she got her natural hair straightened, or she got makeup and stuff, all that stuff like a white girl or whatever. He calling them snow sisters now. It's sisters that want to be snow bunnies. Let me go ahead and play this.
How the beautiful African queens doing today? Where my natural sisters at? Where my natural sisters at? We need you for the Black Queens Forever, Snow Bunnies Never music video.
So apparently, Umar Johnson is embracing all of black culture, and he's shooting a music video. It's called Black Queens Forever, Snow Bunnies Never. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I love this guy. I think that Umar Johnson could quite possibly be the most entertaining person on the face of the earth. I remember when I first discovered Umar Johnson, I thought that this guy had it. I honestly, I was like, this guy is like, he's a psychologist. He's going against the alphabet community. He's adding value into people's life. He's saying that he's going to build the school. Man, Umar Johnson is hilarious. Umar Johnson is hilarious. I gotta play this.
We need you for the Black Queens Forever Snow Bunnies Never music video. You must be all natural. No straightening comb either, ladies. Even if the hair is all yours, it must be in its natural state. If you got a straightening comb, that don't count. If you got a straightening comb, that don't count. If you got a straightening comb, that don't count. All natural queens for the Black Queens Forever Snow Bunnies Never music video. All natural queens for the Black Queens Forever Snow Bunnies Never music video. Shockumentary is coming out, docuseries. Natural makeup. I don't want you painted up like a clown for my video. This is not no damn hoochie mama video. If you got anything fake, you cannot be in the video. If there's anything on your body, on your face, anything fake, you cannot be in the video. This is for all natural sisters only. Natural hair, natural body. Natural hair, natural body. I love all.
Now, this is one thing that I'm wondering. How old is Umar Johnson? Let me see. I'm about to look it up real quick. Umar Johnson, age. Umar Johnson is 48 years old, according to Google. August 21st, 1974. He gonna be 49 years old. 49 years old. Now, here's my question. Do you think, because I'm not for the natural, like, you know me, I'm not interested. I think that there needs to be a level of decorum, and that anything in this extreme is bad. But I'm not for, I don't mind whether you're natural or whether you wear makeup. I just don't want it to be extreme, right? Nothing crazy. I don't want you to look like a completely different person. But I'm wondering, do you think that Umar Johnson has dyed his beard or his hair? At 48 years old, do you think that Umar Johnson is completely still black on black with his beard? Because the question then becomes, what is natural? What is natural, right? Is natural just the straightening? Is it the makeup? Is it the dye or whatever like that? I'm wondering, is he completely not, or is it just applying to the sisters? Because I don't know any man that's above 40 that has zero gray. Zero gray. Just curious. Just a question. Just a question.
All black women. But I'm trying to project the authentically African sister. I love all black women, but in this music video, we are trying to project the authentically African sister, the natural African sister, the black woman who is not ashamed to be what God made her. I'm tired of the artificiality. Stop imitating the damn snow bunny. Stop imitating the damn snow bunny. Stop imitating the damn snow bunny. Brothers and sisters.
Why did he say it 3 times? But I will say though, I think that he does has a point, right? And that there's an extreme that's happening. I mean, the baby hairs is baby hairing. The baby hairs is all the way down here. I am tired of seeing these chicks with these wild shapes because they got these bad BBLs. The extreme surgeries is outlandish. All jokes aside, I can understand the sentiment of what he's saying, right? And that I don't think that is wild. Now, the idea of shooting a black natural, whatever, forever, snow bunnies never is hilarious to me. But that's just a Western culture thing. I think that black women in general is, well, I don't know. Black women is on the extreme side of it. I think that if you look at a lot of Arabic women and a lot of women from other cultures and white women too, you look at those Kardashians, they all look like ants now. All women look like ants. They all look like they got their huge booty, really, really teeny waist, and the tops is huge, and they all look like ants now. And they willing to spend an egregious amount of money. I think that he does got a point. I think that the extremities make it a problem. And so I'm with it. I'm with it. The music video, I'm not so sure, but he's saying that they want to look like snow bunnies. I would say that white women is trying to look like black women. Black women is trying to look like they all the same. They taking what we think. Everybody want a black woman body, a traditional black woman body, right? But then they want European hair. And so what you see happening in society is that people are picking and choosing, and they saying, I want this, and I want this from you, and this from you, and then they going from there. White women want to be tan. Black women want to be lighter. Nobody wants to actually be whatever it was that they started off in the first place.
Sisters, hair color, it better not be obvious, and it better not be European. Hair color, it better not be, I don't want no blue and orange. I said natural. Why don't we understand the word natural? Can somebody please give a definition of natural? Because I don't think the sisters is understanding. We have so much artificiality in the black community that we don't even understand what the word natural means anymore. We don't even understand what the word natural means anymore.
He's right. I mean, he's 100% right. We don't understand what natural. We've had this conversation on Fight Club, and if you look at any group of people, when you had this conversation, most people can't give you a definition of what natural is. Some people will say, well, this is my real hair. Some people will say, well, it can't just be your real hair. It has to not be straightened, or it can't have any chemicals in it. Some people say, well, it can be your real hair, but it can't have any color in it. Some people will say, well, it's okay for you to wear makeup, just not a lot of it. A lot of guys will say, well, I don't want no girl that don't wear no makeup, but then they don't even know that their girl was wearing makeup. She just wearing naturally looking makeup. Other guys will say, well, I don't want a chick that don't want no makeup and I want her to look natural, but then the chick that he fucking on is, she looked like a Kardashian and her lips is inflated and all of this other type of stuff. A lot of guys can't even tell the difference between a guy that's dressing up as a girl, shout out to the lady boys out there in Thailand, and a chick that's natural, right? And so a lot of people is pretending like they know, and there's no true definition of what natural is, just like, in my opinion, there's no true definition of what pro-black is. So
she said no blind. Of course not. Why do I want a blonde head? I tell you what I'm gonna do.
Yo, Umar Johnson is hilarious. Umar Johnson is hilarious, yo. You can't tell me that this guy. You know what the funniest part about this whole video is? I'm reading Super Chat shortly. The funniest part about this video is not only that Umar Johnson is hilarious, but he's trying to not offend his female audience. It is so hard for him to have this conversation with women, because I would imagine, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that women would probably be his largest donor base. It's similar to the church, right? If you go into any church, there's always going to naturally be, especially black church, it's going to be way more women than it is men. And so he don't want to offend his core base. And so he just kind of whereas he would be telling the guys that they get 50,000 lashes, the women, he just going to try to laugh it off like it's no big deal. Let me back up a little bit.
Speciality in the black community that we don't even understand what the word natural means anymore. We don't even understand what the word natural means anymore. She said no blind. Of course not. Why do I want a blonde head? I tell you what I'm gonna do. Come to my music video with some fake ass hair or some colored hair, I'm gonna cut the shit off. Oh yes. See, we got the whips for the lashes, but we got the scissors for the sisters who don't know what natural means. Show up at my video shoot with some fake ass hair, some perm, some straightening hair. I'm cutting the shit off. See, y'all don't understand. So I gotta bring out the Ogun in me. The Ogun in me. I'm gonna just cut it off. I'm gonna just walk up to you and start cutting your hair off. Okay? Stop imitating the bunny. Hashtag stop imitating the bunny. I'm just gonna cut it off. Show up with some fake locks, I'm cutting off.
What? Now you really gonna get Umar. I know your cash apps is dry. Mug. He said you show up, and you showing up looking like one of the snow bunnies. If you show up looking like a snow bunny, he said no fake locks. He said no fake locks. You know what they call them? Ain't they called faux locks? Faux locks? He said no fake locks. Now you know these sisters is gonna feel some type of way. What if they got alopecia? Ain't alopecia like the hair thing or whatever? What if they got alopecia, doctor?
Show up with a weave, I'm cutting it up. Show up with a perm, I'm gonna have these scissors at the video shoot. Okay? You don't have to be voluptuous. You can be petite, you can be full-figured. It's all black women. All black women.
This is crazy.
Braids, what do y'all think? Should we allow braids? Should we allow braids? I don't think so. I think we're going all natural. I don't think I'm allowing braids for this. I don't think I'm allowing braids. Because even if you got braids, that means you have something that is unnatural in your hair.
If you have braids, you have something that's unnatural in your hair? I don't understand. If you have braids, you have something that's unnatural in your hair? How? If you have braids, you have something that's unnatural in your hair. How is that possible? So, hold on, ladies. Y'all got to give me some insight in here. If you have braids, then is it something unnatural in your hair? Does Umar Johnson know what he's even talking about right now? I don't understand that. I'm confused. Q said braids is usually fake hair. But braids don't have to necessarily be fake hair. Right? Quentin said because it's weave, duh. Quentin, so you telling me that women can't get braids without it being fake hair? Well, extensions is different. All right, so this is what I'm wondering. For any guy, I wouldn't usually do this, but I'm just curious. I'm about to drop the link in the chat. For any guy that has ever seen a woman and said, nope, I'm not busting her down because she has extensions in her hair, let me know. For any guy, I'm only dropping the link in the chat once. For any guy that has ever seen a woman and said, nope, I'm not busting her down because she got extensions in her hair, let me know. Or I'm not busting her down because she got too much makeup, let me know. Because, see, I think it's a difference between the women that men marry versus the women that men will bust down. And that's the thing I think that women get confused. It's not about the thing that men marry. It's about the thing that men show that they're attracted to. And that's where the confusion comes in with women, because a lot of women think that just because they can go out on a date or just because a guy is rocking with them, they can't understand why they can't keep the guy or keep the man. And that's the thing that we're not explaining to women. Maybe I'll do a live stream on that Wednesday. I think I'm going to do a live stream on that Wednesday. Let me drop that in my notes. I'm going to do a live stream on that Wednesday. Quentin, help me to understand it. I just dropped the link in the chat for you. Help me to understand it, Quentin. What's the difference between, are you telling me a chick, you not busting down a chick because white women dye their hair too. White women have the most extensions. Yo, we was in first class and a chick was sitting in a seat right in front of us and she was looking like a whole mess. You remember that? I think we was we on our way to Vegas or was we on our way to Detroit?
Vegas.
We was on our way to Vegas? Yeah, we're going to do a live stream on that. Let me see something really quickly. Let's keep going, Umar.
I'm not allowing braids. I'm not allowing braids. All natural means all natural. I'm gonna cut this shit off.
So can you not
cut this shit off? All
brush your hair at all? Is that what he's saying?
natural means all natural. Black queens forever. Snow bunnies never. You want to imitate the snow bunny and sneak into my video? No, thank you.
Quentin is gonna give me the game. All right, Quentin, hold on. Let me see. Let me move this over here. Quentin, tell me, you've seen a chick and you said, "Yo, she got braids. I'm not busting her down."
I feel like I don't know she got braids until hold up. Yeah, I don't know she got braids until I start filling in the hair and like run into some shit.
What do you mean? No, you talking about a chick?
Like, extensions. Like, you know, you be touching a girl's hair and you're like, whoop, what's going on? You run into some
But why is you touching her hair though?
Because you gotta run your hair. What you mean, bro?
What do you mean? What? So you would wait. So when you rocking with a chick, you touch her hair?
I wouldn't say it always, but I can't just look at a woman and say she got extensions.
But why? Why? Like, and I'm just curious, right? Because listen, I'm out the game. I'm married. I'm trying to understand how do you determine whether or not you're gonna rock with a chick or not, just based purely off of like what hairstyle do you decide? You know what? I'm not rocking with that one.
I don't think I have that. I don't do that. Like I'm down with the braid. I like the braids in a bun, like the long braids in a bun. Like I like that look.
But that's fake hair.
I didn't say I didn't rock with fake hair. I'm not Umar. Yeah, I'll deal with some braids, and I know like Brandy got extensions. It looks good though. It looks natural. I'm Brandy, Chicago. She got extensions. I didn't know they was extensions until she told me.
And you don't carry the weight though.
No, I don't care.
So what kind of chicks don't you rock with? Like, do you not rock with natural chicks? What's going on?
I don't rock with chicks with broomsticks on their eyelashes. I don't do eyelashes. I don't do long, like those long pointy like witch fingernails. I don't do those. I don't do those like extravagant like nail colors with like gold with pinstripes and bunny rabbits on. I don't do none of that.
Why?
If you just got like normal, like natural looking nails, like just like a solid color, then just like I need that little oval, little shape. I don't like
So you looked at a chick's nails and was like, you know what? I'm just not rocking with her.
Like I noticed that and I'm like, yup.
Seriously?
Yep. And then like what kind of shoes she got on and like what her feet look like and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Y'all are impressive, bro. And you said I'm not busting that down?
No, man. I've been stingy the last couple years, bro. I ain't been out here. I ain't been reckless in a minute.
I don't understand, man. I'm perplexed.
Like I can do like a French manicure.
It's the difference between the chicks that you'll bust down and the chicks that, you know.
I agree. I can like my mind's totally different now. I can tell like where a chick's within like a first week of talking to her. I can tell if I want this more than sex, but it usually don't get beyond that.
So you will bust down a chick, you're just not gonna marry.
Yeah, I'll tell her. I'm not gonna front. I mean, like if it goes from we trying to date and go for further and just having sex, I'll let them know to be like, hey, I don't feel it this way no more. You type of thing. Like I told this one girl, I was like, man, I don't see this going nowhere. Blah blah blah. And then she was kind of sad when we got off the phone. And the next day she was like, I'm gonna still get that dick. I'm like, I was offended.
Yo, Quinn, I'm dropping you. Bye. Let me get somebody else up here. Arthur. What's going on, Arthur?
Hey. Yo, what's up?
What's up, man?
Shalom.
Shalom? What does shalom mean?
Means peace. It's all in the Bible. So.
Oh, peace
shalom.
to you. Peace to you also, my friend. What's going on, Arthur?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I heard the question you was asking, and I wanted to just chime in on it.
All right.
And just so you know, I am in the bag chasers group. I've been in there for like over a year. So
Shout out to you, Arthur. Shout out to Arthur.
yeah,
So, what's your thoughts on this subject, Arthur?
yeah. I've only ever, as an adult, I've only dealt with women who are natural. So my first girlfriend as an adult, she had never had a perm in her head her entire life. So
Arthur, we not just gonna skip by what you originally said. You said your child's mother.
yeah, my child's mother, yeah.
Was you married to her?
No.
Arthur.
Hmm.
You creating single baby mamas out here in these streets, Arthur?
You can't make a woman marry you after you gave her a ring and she turned it down. So I'm good to
Yeah,
go.
but you
I'm
don't
good.
have
I'm
to. You
good.
don't have to have a child with her either, Arthur. You
Well,
have
once a
a child out
child,
of wedlock.
hey, once a child is born, you got to be born. I'm not an absentee
Arthur,
father, so that part is
Arthur,
kind of irrelevant.
Arthur. It's very relevant.
Mhm.
Very
No,
relevant.
no. See, you're talking about a young Arthur. So as an older man now, I'm not older, but
Arthur, you didn't even take responsibility though, Arthur.
I just said I took responsibility. I gave her a ring. I
No, no,
proposed.
no, no, no,
We're
no,
supposed to
no.
be married. She didn't want to get married.
Arthur, taking responsibility is you shouldn't have had a kid or gotten her pregnant in the first place.
You can't go back and undo mistakes, right?
That's not taking responsibility just because you can't go back and undo mistakes.
Wait, you do realize the
Because
argument you're
because
making is
wait, because
you're saying in the past I can go back
taking
and undo a mistake that was
responsibility,
already
Arthur,
made?
taking responsibility, Arthur,
You do.
is to first
I already called it
acknowledge.
a mistake.
It's to first acknowledge that it wasn't a mistake in the first place. You don't mistakenly have a kid, Arthur, out of wedlock.
Well, you can play semantics with the words, but if you're not intending to get pregnant, then you're making mistakes.
Did you have sex without a condom?
Yep.
That's not a mistake, Arthur.
Hey, bad decision. Mistakes, bad decisions, however they work out. I'm not running from the reality of what it
No,
is.
Arthur, we're not just gonna skip past this.
Okay.
You can't conflate words have meanings. Okay?
Uh-huh.
You can't say mistake, bad decision. No, it's two different things. A mistake is a mistake, and a bad decision is a bad decision, Arthur.
You know very good well that mistakes can be bad decisions, and bad decisions can be mistakes.
No,
You
it's
know,
not. No, it's not. It's not the same.
you know what mistake is kind of purposely ignoring the truth of what both actually mean.
It's not the same. Not the same, Arthur. You know, honestly, and listen.
I agree that they're not the same, but
Listen,
all right.
Arthur. You tried to make them both the same, and they're not. So here's the thing. Because
No, I'm not making them both the same. I'm just saying in
I have to
general
be
they're not both the
objective.
same.
I have to be objective, Arthur. And you know, the same way that I have smoke, I'm an equal accountability smoke giver. I gotta be honest with you, bro.
All right.
You gotta shape up, man. If men refuse to be the leader of
I
their
got it.
household and they want to conflate making a bad decision with a mistake, then that means that you then become a part of the problem within the communities. Arthur, you there? Arthur, we got a bad connection going on, buddy. Arthur, you there, buddy?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
What I was saying is that I took personal responsibility for that. That has nothing to do with me trying to share responsibility with people online.
How did you take personal responsibility, Arthur? How'd you take personal responsibility, Arthur?
That's why I'm married. I'm married. It's because all my children now are born in marriage.
So you only got one baby
and
mama?
I tried to get my son to come live with me. Yeah. And I tried to get my son to come live with me so I could raise him. So me taking personal responsibility online.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead with the rest of your point.
Marriage now.
So
how
long you been married, Arthur?
That's me taking personal responsibility. 5 years.
Everything going great in marriage?
Yeah, the marriage is going great. Just building these businesses. That's why I got a coaching call with you.
Okay, so what was you saying about the natural women specifically?
Well, the way, because I knew you was asking the question about natural. What is natural? What is not natural?
Arthur, I'm having trouble. I can't.
All the
Your connection is off, Arthur. Arthur, I'm gonna need you to come back, big dog.
Oh, there it is. It's back. I'm
Oh,
driving on the back
you
roads
got
of
it.
North
You
Carolina.
there?
Yeah, I was just saying I encourage my nieces and nephews, my daughter. Well, I can't encourage her yet. She's only one. So, but I'm trying to encourage young black women to just, treat their hair, know how to deal with their hair, because for black women have been brainwashed to think their hair is difficult to deal with. So, I've encouraged natural hair since even before I was married. All my girlfriends who I would date, I would encourage them to, return their hair to its natural state, because perms, weaves, all that kind of stuff actually poison your scalp. So it's actually quite dangerous, even though it's on micro level dangerousness, but it's still dangerous because it pulls their hair out.
Hmm.
So I was approaching it from a health standpoint, and that most of the women have had perms, and they don't even realize how bad the perms are actually to them. Because people seem to think just because they're still alive doesn't mean they're not damaged in a way that's in some cases irreversible.
I got you, Arthur. I'm feeling you. I'm feeling that. All right, Arthur. I appreciate you, big dog.
Hey man, thanks for your time. I got a coach call with you on May 11th. Talk to you
All
then.
right, yeah, we're gonna kick it. May 11th. I got you.
All right.
Shout out to Arthur. Let me get O'Dane in the building. Is it O'Dane?
Yes,
What up, O'Dane? What's the word, big dog? Where you from?
I'm from Connecticut.
Shout out to Connecticut. What up, though? So, what's your thoughts?
Oh, regarding the hair situation, there's I would say the turnoff would be when I see a whole bunch of different color hairs, like rainbow, blue, red, yellow, all type of crazy color. That's what kind of turned me off. But it's strange because my current wife, I almost missed out because she had a stripe of green in her hair when I first met her at an event, and I almost missed out. But that's just a prime example of why you shouldn't really judge everybody. But you could tell when it's too much, when it's too crazy. That's when you kind of like slip away from it.
How long you been married? You look pretty young.
I'm 30.
Oh yeah, you're still a young lad. How long you been married?
I've been married for a year and a half now.
How you like it?
It's good. Got my first one on the way, so
Oh snaps! You got a kid on the way?
yeah,
Congratulations, my friend.
yeah. Thanks, appreciate it.
I love that. I love that. So, anything else that you don't necessarily care for with regard to seeing on women?
Oh yeah, the fake body, all that extra. Nah, that's just a no, straight up no for me. I can't. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a question, O'Dane. What was it about your wife? Um, what was it about her that you identified as a wife? Like, what put her in a wife category versus any of the other women that you talked to before?
Basically, her manner. She she grew up well trained. In a church too, which is one of the things that help her to become. So it was a lot. It was a lot of stuff that I identified that's different compared to other people that I've dealt with. You know.
So she required you to marry her, or did you just say, you know what, I want to marry you?
Uh, she didn't require it. It was more of after going over everything, and we consciously made a decision because, like I said before her, the people before her, they just wasn't qualified, and they weren't matching up to what
What
I
was the
expect from a
disqualification?
woman.
Was you looking for a wife, or you just naturally fell into a
I
situation with?
I wasn't really I wasn't really looking for a wife. So the thing is, there's a lot of girls who they just don't know how to carry themselves. They're out 24/7. You come home, the house is not clean. There's just certain stuff that will qualify you. That's just to get you in the door. It's not a guarantee. So those were some of the steps that um, I identified at first.
What about like is there anything else that you can give the women that would give them like some incentive to separate themselves from the rest of the women that they think that they doing right, that they doing wrong? What would you say that is?
Uh, what I could say is I noticed that a lot of women they tend to listen to what other single women have to say. And that's one thing my current wife was really good at. She looked at the situation and she realized all these women giving her advice about me were are single, baby daddies, like been single their whole life, and she thought about it. I don't want to be like these people. So
So wait.
I'm
What you
gonna
mean?
separate
They
myself
was
from
giving
them.
her advice about you. What does that mean?
They basically was telling her that I'm not the man for her, pretty much. They didn't have any good reason. They just was making up stuff.
Like
single
what? What
people
was they
be
making
saying.
up? What was they making up?
Oh, he's probably gonna have like five baby mothers. they, they were making up anything. Oh, he's gonna have five different baby mamas. He's gonna have. He's gonna be doing stuff. He's gonna be sneaking out. He's not the one. Just random stuff, and these were all coming from single women.
You said it was coming from
And
single
it's
guys. You
just
said it was coming
strange.
from guys too, though, right?
Oh, nah. From guys, it was pretty much different. They were straight up. They were straight up. They pretty much were like, "Listen, you've known this guy for a while. He's a stand-up dude. He goes to work. He's not outside every day, wasting his life away. He's principled. He takes care of home. He's family oriented. That's the difference I noticed between men and women when it came to conversations. And it's really strange. Well, not in a bad way, but I guess I could say men think about stuff in a general sense and long term versus a lot of women. They're just thinking right in the moment.
Did
You
you
know what I mean?
marry a black girl or did you marry some other nationality?
Uh, she's black.
She's black.
My yeah, she's foundational FBA or whatever they call it. I'm originally from the island, so
Got you. Well, listen, that sounds great, man. Listen, congratulations to you, and shout out to you for your kid on the way. Hopefully, you have a phenomenal marriage and a healthy baby, and have nothing but respect for you, my friend.
appreciate it.
All right, big dog.
Thank
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to him for getting married. Sounds like everybody that came up on the panel. Oh yeah, we had Quentin on here. We working on Quentin now. Everybody that came up on the panel was some married men though. Ooh, married guys in the building. Maybe I need to give y'all a tour of what it is that we got going on over here. Let me see. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me good? I think y'all can still hear me. Maybe I'll give y'all a little bit of a tour of what we got going on over here. All right, so Let's see. So we got the kitchen. This is my Airbnb. This is Leslie's room specifically. Leslie has her own closet, and she has her own bathroom. Leslie got her own bathroom in there. So it's pretty cool. Nothing major. And we got the views. So this is the downstairs. Obviously, we got the TV and stuff like that. So this is the city. All around. Upstairs. And then upstairs is a whole nother ball game. But maybe I'll give y'all the tour of upstairs with the jacuzzi and everything tomorrow. And we go from there. So make sure y'all tune in tonight. And then I'll give y'all the tour of all of the upstairs and the jacuzzis and the patio and the balcony and everything like that. If y'all follow me on Instagram, you can see a little bit of my view. And we can go from there. Let me read some of these super chats so I can highlight some of the stuff y'all was saying. Shout out to AJR. AJR says, where are you in DR? I am in DR right now. I'd love to catch up. I am in Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo is where I am in the Dominican Republic. Shout out to AJR in the building. Chike Auto LLC's kid says, can't believe women texting your wife to leave you. You know how these hateful hoes are. Persevere Data TV says, he's basically saying stay on code with your hair. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson, pretty funny guy. Chester Williams is in the building, says, this is crazy. Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News and Don Lemon has been let go from CNN. What is going on? I got that alert notification, but I decided to make it a whole show tomorrow, so I'm going to break that down for you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and we're going to talk about Tucker Carlson tomorrow. Shout out to Chester Williams. Levi says, Asian marauder ants is what most women are going for nowadays, specifically the super major in that ant species. Shout out to Levi in the building. Marriage, Politics, and Sports says, it's funny, but I like where he is going with this. But if it is anything like his school, will he actually put this out? Shout out to Purple Haze in the building. Says, what up, Anton? Umar is going to have your Coogee on, saying Snow Bunny's never black as natural as ever. In Biggie's voice, watch. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. Beautiful Disasters. Oh, I love Beautiful Disaster. Please, Snow Bunny's going to try to sneak on there with a dark tan. Watch. I'd love to see a white woman show up to Umar Johnson's event and see what he does about it. John Doe says, Anton is correct. Black women and white women are unsatisfied with their appearance. That's why they think mommies are the beauty standard, because they have the best of both worlds. Shout out to John Doe. A-Wall is in the building, says he's talking about weave braids, not natural. Well, how am I supposed to be able to separate the two? Spaces says, so basically show up with the Angela Davis fro, basically. And even the fros be having chemicals in it, so I don't know what they talking about. Anton, one of the things I thought was great about my honey was her natural hair and the time she took to keep it up, especially since she never complained when I played with her hair. Now, you get you a woman that wants you to scratch her scalp when she's washing her hair. That's a whole nother problem. That's only the married folks knowing about that. Only married dudes know about a chick asking you, can you scratch her scalp when she washing her hair. Shout out to Spaces. Says, dodge that accountability, Arthur. Dodge it. Brock says, pass a love offering. Shout out to Brock. Also, shout out to Mike, that dude with the Cash App. Johnny Van Johnson is in the building, says Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson fired. Yeah, I heard about that. I'm going to break that down tomorrow. I want to do a whole show about it. I want to do a whole show about it, and we're going to go out from there. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. We're going to continue to do the work. Shout out to y'all. I love y'all. I absolutely love y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm out. Peace.